3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Welcome to ASD Market Week's YouTube series, Retail Revelations Inside the Deal. This is your all-access pass to the world of buying and selling in the retail space. We're getting candid and having real conversations on what it takes to get the deal done. This is Retail Revelations Inside the Deal. Hello and welcome to Retail Revelations Inside the Deal. I'm your host, Stephanie Baring-Healy, and today we have a treat. We're speaking with the one and only Valerie, VP DMM of Variety Wholesalers. Valerie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So you've been a busy bee, you and your team. You've been reopening a lot of Big Lot stores. So how are you feeling? And congratulations on this feat.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you want me to go briefly over who I am and what I do.
Yeah, let's dig into the fun stuff first.
Right.
Tell us a little bit more about you and, of course, a little bit more about Variety Wholesalers.
Yes, of course. So I've been in retail, we're going to say 20 years, over 20 years, okay? So from day one, I was hooked. Thrill of merchandising, the products, the pace, the thrill of giving a customer great shopping experience. I loved all of this. So I began more on the vendor side, but I quickly discovered that I love the fast moving, ever-changing nature of retail. Since then, so I've had the privilege of being a senior leader in merchandising in places like Christmas Tree Shops, who used to be with Bed Bath & Beyond, AC Moore, who was a nationwide craft retailer, Dollar Tree, Lids, which is a little bit of a different business. And I've led a large team of merchants in various multitude of categories, mostly on the hard side goods of the business, just like home decor, furniture, health and beauty, just to name a few. So today, I'm Vice President DMM for Variety Wholesaler, who owns Big Lots and Roses. These are the main banners. So I lead a powerhouse of a merchant team across seasonal furniture, home decor, toys, again, just to name a few, houseware, lawn and garden. It's a big area. So what I do is I try to really stay focused on driving sales through merchandise, strategic assortment, planning, vendor relationship, private label development through imports, and opportunistic buying. And at the same time, I try to mentor my team. We try to foster a culture of creativity, accountability, execution. Most importantly, I think it's extremely rewarding to help shape product strategy that resonates with our value-driven customers and to deliver meaningful results for the business. So that's a little bit about me. Now, I know you had twofold in your question. The Big Lots acquisition, which is, of course, has kept us very busy. So we acquired the Big Lot names back in January of this year. We always liked the brand. We bought the IP and we committed to open about 200 stores. We selected stores with logistic imperative in mind because we have 2 DCs and we needed those stores to be serviced by those DCs. So at the end, we now have 219 stores in 15 states for Big Lots. The first one opened April 9th. The last one opened June 5th. So we opened in that short of a window of time. And some said in the industry that couldn't be done. And we said, watch us. So all of the 219 stores are now open, up and running. So our goal for Big Lots is very clear. Big Lots are really a growth engine for us. We added a team of 17 merchants to the already existing merchandising team. That team is strictly dedicated to Big Lots. We want to take it back to its roots, good old days. They used to be called Odd Lots. Yeah, they used to.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So they have a very passionate customer following. They love the brands. They love the big lot brands. They love the brands within the brand. But most of all, they love the value. And our focus is to bring back to the value to them, front and center. We accomplish that with a compelling assortment. The most attractive part of it, though, is the value. And you're probably going to hear me say that word many, many times during our conversation. So, on one end, we have our staples, right? The things that the customer they can always find in our stores. And then we have an exciting, fresh assortment of products constantly rotating through great finds and the closeout market. And that's both at Big Lots and at Rose's.
I think it's so interesting. So the industry, there's been so much chatter. And when you came along with your team and the news was announced that Big Lots was coming back with new energy, fresh perspective, while also leaning into its roots because customers and consumers really felt connected with the brand, we were all cheering for you. And the fact that you accomplished it and you got all these stores opened is absolutely amazing. And it is a line for the headlines because I think you did something that really amazed the industry of buyers and sellers, and they've been cheering for you this whole time. So very excited that you all were able to do that.
Yes, I think, it was not a small task, of course, and it's still evolving, but we're really happy with what everybody was able to do. I mean, we have 13,000 associates, and every single one of them were a part of accomplishing really opening all those stores. The fields, the merchants, everybody took part in doing all this.
And with Big Lots, you already said it, value. You definitely, there's a customer base that they love the treasure hunt. They love the value aspect. They expect the best. Tell us how important that is in the business model of you guys maintaining those expectations with the product that you put into the storefront.
There is a constant in the very volatile, ever-changing sourcing landscape for a value retailer, the need for a great deal. To pass it along to the customer, that will never change. What has changed is the stability of the import cost due to the change in tariff. So there's even more emphasis on increasing the penetration of opportunistic buying in the mix. That's really a fact. Our buyers are seasoned pro. They can spot a great deal a mile away, even with their eyes closed. I mean, they're amazing. And they've built relationships that are strong with vendors and can withstand any possible market disruption. So that's key. With 219 more stores, we cranked up our buying power by over 50%. So whether it's 500 units or 50,000 units, we said, bring it on, it on. It's a deal. We'll take it. No deal is too weird, too small, too large, if it makes sense to our customer. But closeout, it's definitely playing a huge, huge part. It's not just a role, it's a leading role. Opportunistic buying is basically our favorite sport. We built for it. Our team can jump, like I said, 550,000 units with equal excitement. And because of our very nimble structure and great decisiveness, we really make a decision really quickly. We can go from a handshake to a purchase order in a few days, not a few weeks. So we're famous and we're known among your vendors for skipping the red tape and going straight to, let's do this. If we see value, we move really fast. There's no flow charts. There's no 14-step approval process, no buzzkill red tape. That's what we do. So, we are, going back to your question, I mean, this is becoming more and more important because of the instability of the import business that plays a great part in certain categories of business.
So sourcing, I want to break it up into two portions because I know that your team has been outside the US, going to different countries. I mean, your team's really doing the work and you're exploring, diversifying where you source. So tell us a little bit what's keeping you guys up at night in terms of how do I get this product because the tariffs are impeding on what I used to do and now I have to move forward in a different way. What does that look like?
Well, it's always the same. It's always the same motto, right? I mean, there's a trifecta: value, brands, and I can't believe they have this. So with some of the restriction on the import market, what we do is we pivot right away. We were very, I think we were able to see ahead of time that was going to be very unstable. We were able to commit actually far in advance, and bring in some goods. So we did not have to react to price increase because we were able to pack and hold the goods and leave it for the customer at the same price until we can have the market settle. However, you mentioned several other countries that we've explored, but those countries as well, I mean, there's still tariff, and this still needs to be taken into consideration. We're in a good position because, like I said, we've increased our buying powers. So we are relying on a lot of opportunistic buys, and our buyers, our merchants are constantly on the market or on the phone with vendors. I mean, unfortunately, with what's happening at retail and a lot of people losing out of business, there's a lot of goods out there. There's a lot of goods also that might have been already manufactured overseas, brought in the country, and nowhere to go. So that is really helping us to really mitigate, what we can't get in import.
So when you're seeking out product, what's your favorite thing to buy?
The value.
The value.
The value. That's what we do. I can tell you that. So ASD, right? So for us, it's like the Super Bowl, except it happens twice a year, and it's the only show that we bring the whole squad, all the merchants. And we're probably one of the biggest group of buyers on your floor, by the way, because we know we're going to see all the players we need to see. We know our vendors, your exhibitors, are going to be prioritizing your show to present the best opportunity in terms of deals. The way it works is each merchant lines up appointments to maximize the hunt. They know who to go to first to get the best deal. Everyone has a different system, but it works. So, I can remember great deals that we got at ASD and things that really flew off the shelf. Okay, we had a Kijiro camper chair. So it's a foldable camper chair. That chair was $50 at Dick's Sporting Goods. We bought it at your show. We were retailing it at $19.99. We went through tens of thousands of units in a few weeks. But I think one of the very vivid example that the merchants are always talking about is we found it's a brand called Whalen. It was a fireplace. So it was like a TV stand that had a fireplace in it. The comp value on this, it was $1,000. We bought it so we could retail it at $199.99. So that's 20% of retail for anybody else. This deal went viral. Our customer, we put, it was after August, right? It was beginning of September. Fireplace. We said, let's try to put a few on the selling floor. Well, guess what? The customers were driving 3 hours to get to the store and grab it. So after value, and we go after brands, because it gives our value so much more legitimacy, because the customers know exactly what the retail of the item when it's branded and what's out there and the value that we can give them. So they see the amazing saving that they can find at Rose's or Big Lots.
I would be driving my vehicle and picking up that fireplace real quick because they're expensive. And what an exciting opportunity for a consumer where they get to enhance their household with an item that they can use, and you're giving it to them at such a brilliant price point that's where memories are made. And consumers don't forget that. They'll go back and they'll repeat. And I'm sure that while they're also looking at that amazing fireplace, they're probably also saying, let me pick up some household goods, and ooh, it's spooky season, so let me pull in some of this stuff that you've got on this side. So those deals really drive traffic, and it's very important for retailers right now to get people into those stores.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you've mentioned it a little bit. You've got a fabulous team. We love that your whole squad comes out to ASD. I guess my big question is, how do you stay aligned with each other and work the floor and communicate with each other and just work collectively as a team?
First of all, our team of merchants is absolutely unbelievable. Um, they know it's all about the value for the customer. Like I said, the buying teams are separated per banner, but the common goal, again, is the value to the customer. The existing team at Roses has pivoted so fast and extremely well and pretty much handled the buying for 219 new stores at the very beginning before we built the other team for Big Lots. And the merchant for Big Lots, most of them were there pre-acquisition, and they're catching on really quickly on the Variety way. There's also a great partnership between the two teams. We have one common leader, Chris Grigley, who is our CEO, and Lisa Sieges, who is our CEO. So there's constant communication, even though the other team is located in Columbus and we are here in Raleigh, North Carolina. When we're at a show, we have, there's some have laundry list and we're a phone call away. I mean, like I said, we're nimble, we act fast. The open to buy has very little, well, I shouldn't say that, but it is important. But when we find a great deal, we communicate and we run for it.
It's so important, and we recommend this for a lot of other retailers that are out there. Come with your teams because you can really scan the full market and you can go row by row and then nothing's missed. You've really covered your bases and you've made sure that if there was anything that was relevant for your store, you had eyes on it and you had an opportunity to talk to that vendor to see if you can negotiate the terms and incorporate it within your business. So you talked about it a little bit in the beginning. Relationships are so important, especially in today's age of AI and all of that kind of stuff. So what is your personal approach to working with exhibitors and vendors and just keeping a pulse on them and keeping that relationship thriving?
So the team is very seasoned, laser focused on value. They're scary good at spotting deals. We are also privately owned. That means we skip the red tape and we go straight to the decision. Our senior leadership is accessible, our system are efficient, and our funding is solid. That resonates a lot with our vendors. It creates the perfect storm for quick, smart buying. These folks, the buyers, they know the closeout world inside out, and just as importantly, they know imports. But I think the key is, and where they were successful, is establishing long-term relationship. Our buyers are fierce negotiators, but they are fair. We want to establish a relationship that's going to be. We're here for the long run. We want to be the first one that the vendor is calling when there's a great deal, and I would say it happens in 95% of the case.
So good. And I have to ask this because at ASD, we get so many brand new exhibitors that it's their first time and they see your name on paper and they're like, oh, how do we work with Variety Wholesalers? So do you have any tips for those that are entering the market as first timers of how they can either set up their booth or how they can approach your team to say, hey, I've got some really good stuff. We know you're looking for value. Come see me. I've got some items. What does that look like?
So one word, trust. Well, and value, because that's two words.
Yeah.
What they need to know, we're financially secure, we move fast, and we stand by our deals. We'll never renegade on a purchase order we committed to. Our reputation in the closeout community means when a deal comes up, like I said, they're usually the first one that we call. Our buyers, like I said, fierce negotiator, but they're also fair and they're very relationship driven. We play the long game. And unlike other retailer, we're not shrinking, we're growing, we're opening store. As an example, if we find a location that check all the boxes for Big Lots, we're going to open a store. It's a growth mindset that makes us a great partner for anyone that's looking to really scale alongside us.
I love how bullish you all are and how that growth mentality we need it in this industry, and you guys are definitely leading the way. So, with all of that, you're a leader and you have your team that reports to you. Talk to us a little bit about your leadership qualities and how you inspire and motivate and train your team so that they can be the best in their craft.
I love this question. So I like to lead. I like to think that I lead by example. I let my merchants be the mini CEO of their categories because, frankly, who likes to be micromanaged? No one. No one likes to be micromanaged. While I love product, I spend a lot of time with numbers. But I see myself as more as a strategic guide, someone that's going to help spot the white space in the category, shape the visions, and give my team the tools to run with it. I'm passionate about innovation, mentorship, and building value-driven strategies that put the customer front and center. And really, it's a good dynamic. I do believe that um, you're here as a guide at this level. You're here as the guide, and you let the buyer be buyer and buy. And we're really this is one of the motto in the company. That's very important to us.
I like how you lean towards them doing what they need to do and molding them along the way of, oh, maybe you could do this a little bit better, but giving them that empowerment. When you take away, like you said, the red tape, and it seems like that's the philosophy that your company has for them being able to purchase, make the moves, pivot. And in today's retail environment, if you can't pivot, you're in trouble because things are moving so incredibly fast that you're forced to do it. Otherwise, you're late to the game. Consumers aren't happy, and then you're going to start seeing things close. So, great mentality. Do you have a favorite leader or mentor that you used to work underneath?
I actually take a lot of inspiration from my current leader, Lisa.
Oh,
Yeah, she is the only female CEO I worked for, and I can tell you that I am amazed by the number of things she's able to accomplish at her level. She's a great leader. And I'm gonna get corny a little bit here.
please do.
I have a saying that I try to live by, which is if you don't know, learn. If you do know, teach. And I think, that's why I mentioned mentorship. I think that, retail is really not in for the faint of heart, but it's incredibly rewarding. You got to be flexible. You're going to embrace the chaos. You develop a thick skin and even a thicker sense of humor. You've got to be able to adapt to a lot of ever-changing situations. So retail, it's like a constant master class, and the best people in it are always growing. And I always try to learn whatever I'm doing. Any new categories. I've had to learn new categories in this role, and I think I really appreciate being in a position where I can also learn from the team.
And I know that the communities that you serve with having your storefronts there, the communities, they feel the energy, they feel the support. And I think a lot of them are, again, just super excited to have you in their areas so that they can go and pull up in their car and get out and go on their treasure hunt and
Yeah.
just have that good experience.
Yeah, so our big lots and roses, our vibe is we're lean, we're nimble, we're borderline obsessed with values. We train our teams to think like business owners. We embrace ultra low cost and lean operating principles. On the community side, our volume speaks volume. We've got loyal customers. They plan group trips to our store. It's like a social event. How about our weekly senior day? It's every Wednesday. It's practically a local tradition. So if you go to our store on Wednesday, if you are 55 and above, you get an additional 10% discount. And our aisles buzz with the energy then. There's a long line at the cashier. I love to visit the store during those days. So yes, I think that when you build trust through everyday value, the customers bring the community with them.
I'm going to bring my mom and my mother-in-law. Let's go. I didn't know that they had those kind of deals on a Wednesday. That sounds better than bingo.
Yes.
Well, again, you're doing it right. We are definitely at ASD very grateful for your team. And again, we'll be rooting for you as you continue to grow and satisfy communities everywhere. So Valerie, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in Vegas.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'm looking forward to a great show again.
Here we go.
Thank you for joining us. We want you to be a part of the show, so let us know who you want to see and what stories you want to hear. Leave us a comment and make sure you like and subscribe.